Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Where it all went wrong for Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. Samuel Luckhurst was the first to spot Marcus Rashford would be making his debut. His reception from Man United fans on his final appearance was the polar opposite. Someone who has known Marcus Rashford for several years said they saw this coming years ago. That there was an inkling of not if, but when his Manchester United career would go into freefall. They noticed a shift in demeanor in early 2022. Around the time it emerged, he was first considering a move away from United amid dissatisfaction under the interim manager Ralf Rangnick. When Rashford settled on a new challenge nearly 8 weeks ago, many believed he had Barcelona in mind. He will instead wear a different shade of claret down the M6. A source aware of the negotiations said Rashford rejected more prestigious clubs than Aston Villa as he would not have to relocate. Rashford said, "I was lucky to have a few clubs approach me, but Aston Villa was an easy decision. It is an easy commute for Rashford, or his former United Academy teammate Roshan Williams, who has been his driver. Some Villa players reside in Cheshire and socialize in Manchester city centre. Villa were desperate for a striker and at panic stations, according to one agent. The sizable sale of Jhan Duran to Al Nassr for £64 million paved the way for Villa and United to quickly conclude a loan for the remainder of the season. It absolutely suits all parties. Can you name Villa's main left winger? No. Rashford will slot in there and switch to centre forward if Ollie Watkins, forced off at Wolves recently, is ever unavailable. Rashford gets to work under an excellent coach in Unai Emery and plays in the Champions League knockout stage for the first time in 3 years. United are no longer saddled with a player whose training form was regarded as so inadequate that Ruben Amorim said he would have rather played his 63-year-old goalkeeping coach. Villa are above United in the table, but it's a less prestigious club that would never previously have been on his radar. If he was ever to leave United, it was supposed to be for Barca or Paris Saint-Germain, not the 1996 Coca-Cola Cup winners. Rashford was supposed to trump Wayne Rooney as United's record goalscorer and possibly Ryan Giggs' appearance record. It may be 426 appearances and 138 goals all out for Rashford. One of the privileges of covering United for the men is you are aware of the rough diamonds in the academy before outsiders. This correspondent reported on Rashford's first squad call-up, was in attendance for his first and only goal for the under-21s and was the first to spot he was about to make his debut on that uplifting night against Midtjylland. Alejandro Garnacho delivers Antony verdict as Man United loanee continues dream Real Betis start. Alejandro Garnacho has praised Antony after the Manchester United loanee scored his first goal for Real Betis. Antony, who joined the La Liga side on loan from United last month, found the back of the net during their 3-2 defeat against Celta Vigo on Saturday. Antony, 24, gave Betis the lead inside the opening 10 minutes. A loose ball fell to the Brazilian inside the box and he did the rest, curling the ball into the bottom corner. That was Antony's first goal since scoring for United against Barnsley in the Carabao Cup in September. Former Leeds United defender Diego Llorente doubled Betis' advantage in the 22nd minute, and Manuel Pellegrini's side looked in cruise control. However, Betis collapsed in the second half with Celta scoring 3 times to turn the game on its head and secure a dramatic 3-2 win. In an Instagram post after the match, Antony admitted it was a day full of emotions and said his side deserved more after leading 2-0 at the break and dominating the first half. Antony, who has 10.2 million followers, wrote, "A day full of emotions. Happy for my first goal with Betis, but sad with the result, after being ahead. We deserved more, we wanted more. We will continue working hard to get victories and correct our mistakes for the next matches." In the comments section, several United players delivered a message to Antony. One of those was Alejandro Garnacho, who lauded the former Ajax man. He said, "You are great, bro," along with 2 love heart emojis. Bruno Fernandes wrote, "Goal," alongside a fire emoji, while Joshua Zirkzee put 2 love heart emojis. Mateus Cunha, who has been linked with a move to United, commented with a love heart and fire emoji. Defeat for Betis was their fourth in 6 matches, and the pressure is increasing on ex-Manchester City boss Pellegrini. Speaking after losing against Celta, the Chilean said, "Our defensive second half was lacking. Celta is a strong offensive team that plays well and seeks the goal. We lost control of the ball and became too cautious with our 2-0 lead. The second half was quite frustrating from a footballing perspective, in stark contrast to our first half display. Perhaps we should have pursued a third goal instead." Ryan Giggs rips into Man United bosses for poor decision after poor decision. Ryan Giggs has torn into Manchester United's power brokers for overseeing a decade of decline at Old Trafford. Giggs, 51, is synonymous with the club's golden era under Sir Alex Ferguson, who was responsible for winning 13 league titles during his time at the helm. But United have fallen on lean times since his departure, and have not won the Premier League since the legendary Scot stepped down in 2013. Giggs, now co-owner and director of football at Salford City, has watched from afar as United have struggled to reclaim their perch at the top of English football. He has called out United's board for their past mistakes and urged them to now stick with new head coach, Ruben Amorim, who has endured a challenging start to his tenure after succeeding Erik ten Hag back in November. Like any business, recruitment needs to be right and hasn't been for the last 10 years. "We've just made poor decision after poor decision," Giggs said during a Q&A with Nobby Styles' son, John, at an evening with Ryan Giggs earlier this week. "Now it's whether Ruben gets the players he needs, the support he needs, the time." While Amorim has big wins against Liverpool and Manchester City to his name since leaving Sporting Lisbon, United have struggled for consistency under their new head coach. They are currently 13th in the Premier League and already huge underdogs to guarantee European football next season, while there have been question marks over some of their recent big buys in the transfer market. But Giggs has already seen enough to convince him that Amorim, who was linked with a slew of top European jobs before agreeing to join United, has what it takes to turn the Red Devils back into champions. The Welshman added, "We're in a bad place at the moment, but, first of all, I have to say I actually really like the manager. Given a chance and given time, Amorim will bring success back. If we get the right players in and the manager gets time, we will be okay. But at the moment, we are miles off it. We're nowhere near, a long, long way behind, but it can soon turn around." Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are now calling the shots at Old Trafford, with the Glazer family taking a backseat. The new regime have not been a resounding success during their first year at the helm, though, and Giggs wants them to give Amorim the time and support that will be needed to end the club's current malaise. He added, "We've tried giving managers a little bit of time, but now he needs a bit longer, 3 or 4 transfer windows, I think. It's whether he gets the players he needs, the support he needs, the time." Manchester United have a problem they can't ignore, and Ruben Amorim is failing to fix it. It was hardly surprising when boos greeted the halftime whistle at Old Trafford on Friday night. Facing a Leicester City side that had been thumped 4-0 by Everton just 6 days earlier, Manchester United found themselves 1-0 down at the interval. They also failed to register a single shot on target in a dire opening 45-minute showing. United have served up some drab performances at Old Trafford this season, but their first half showing against the Foxes was possibly the worst of the lot. Every backward pass was met by a groan from their supporters. Rasmus Højlund, who is now 14 games without a goal, was anonymous in the first half, registering a paltry 7 touches of the ball. The service into him was non-existent. Højlund last scored for United 64 days ago, when they were beaten 3-2 by Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford on December 7th. He brought United level that Saturday tea time, scoring after 18 minutes, to cancel out Nikola Milinkovic's very early opener. Remarkably, United have only scored 1 first-half goal since a penalty from Bruno Fernandes in their 3-1 defeat at home to Brighton and Hove Albion last month. It means the Reds have now failed to score a first-half goal from open play in each of their last 15 matches. When you consider United scored within the first 2 minutes in each of Ruben Amorim's first 2 games in charge back in November, it has been a remarkable turn of events. United came flying out of the traps against Ipswich Town on Amorim's debut in the dugout at Portman Road, striking within 2 minutes through Marcus Rashford, before Alejandro Garnacho scored inside the opening minute against Bodo/Glimt 4 days later. Since Garnacho fired United into an early lead against the Norwegian outfit on November 28th, United have only scored in the first half of 3 matches. Of Amorim's first 20 games at the helm, United have only scored in the first half on 5 occasions. Harry Maguire, who was United's knight in shining armor against Leicester, heading in a stoppage time winner to seal the club's progression to the FA Cup 5th round, admitted after Friday night's game that the reason behind their slow starts is yet to be identified. "I don't know," Maguire admitted. "We can't really put our finger on it, otherwise we would do. We know there is talent in the team, but at the moment we are not showing it to the best of our ability. There is no doubt about that. Our record at Old Trafford has been really poor, and I think we lose that little bit of belief and that little bit of confidence, and it shows. It comes across that maybe our body language is a little bit down and lethargic, but we need to win games to bring that back, and we will do that. It goes without saying that no game is decided at halftime, and that it is only the full-time score that counts, but United cannot continue to get away with starting so slowly.